Good morning. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to make my contribution on the budget debate for 2018-2019 before this House. Madam Speaker, during the budget presentation and a lot of the contribution made before, with a lot of discussion on climate resilience, building back better. And Madam Speaker, I will start my presentation in giving support to us building back better, but I will use the community of Salisbury as an example, or a model village, a community we can use as a model village for resilience in terms of preparing Dominica to be climate resilient in the Caribbean and in the world first. Madam Speaker, Salisbury, the location of Salisbury, the community of Salisbury, is on a hill. We avoid from landslides, floods. Madam Speaker, this community also have its own water supply. 10 days after the storm, we had water in Salisbury because we have an independent water supply. We have access to our farms. We have some challenges sometimes after the storm, but relatively in the Salisbury Grand Savannah area, Ban area, we can plant short-term crop, Madam Speaker, and that is critical for bouncing back after the storm. Salisbury is one of the few communities with free jetties. We have one on the Salisbury Beach, one at Dolphin Resort, and the other one in an area we call Naya Valley. And I must say, after the hurricane, we had some of the regional forces who came there on the jetty to drop supplies. And also, as PALREP, we got supplies from Guadeloupe and Martinique coming to the Salisbury Beach. We said it openly because it was, it had gone to the Rose or somewhere else. It'd be a challenge for us to get it, so easy access to distribute to the community. So that, Madam Speaker, I must say, can start to catapult the community as well, Salisbury, the village, in terms of structure. They said that Maria slept over Salisbury, stayed there a long time. And people were expecting much more to happen to the community after Maria, but when we woke up, I think there was a certain amount of damage, but the community, hours after Maria, you would hear hammers knocking on roofs and chainsaws clearing access to the village. That level of resilience and independence, Madam Speaker, put us at the forefront in terms of the drive towards a more resilient Dominica. Madam Speaker, one of the challenges that we have as a community is that the lack of a proper hurricane shelter. And I think it's not only Salisbury, but across the board, we had a challenge. We had this Salisbury Primary School, and it's not, it got destroyed by Maria. We had a part of the First Baptist Church and also the Gospel Mission Hall. And they are inadequate in terms of providing shelter for the community. And Madam Speaker, a few months ago, about 2 months ago, we had a representative from the CDB in Dominica, and they were representing the Canadian government. And the Prime Minister made a reference to it in his budget address that they were looking at doing repairs or rebuilding the Granby Primary, Will Strathmore Primary, Monjon Primary, Dalis Primary, and the Salisbury Primary. They built the Salisbury Primary in 1972. In the Prime Minister's presentation, the discussion that we had with the officials, and they looked at everything, they said they looked like they will have to do a complete rebuilding of the Salisbury Primary School. But in the presentation by the Prime Minister, we heard that we're going to repairs on the Salisbury Primary School. I just want us to look at it across the board, in all fairness, objectively, and see how we can use that building in the location that it is. It is the logistics is easily accessible by the community. You don't have to pass any ravines or drains or rivers to access that school. So it would be an ideal place to build a resilient building, that multipurpose building where you could have school, community center and hurricane shelter. Is a very good area, and we're hoping that going forward that we can look at it from that perspective as we look at building better, building back better. So I see Salisbury as a model. We can use Salisbury as a model village in terms of rebuilding, building back better, and climate resilience. So going forward, I hope we can look at that community as we prepare Dominica to be the first climate resilient country. Madam Speaker, the budget made reference to education and rebuilding schools, Madam Speaker. But we have to look at not only the structure, the classroom, but we have to look at the curriculum. How are we empowering our young people? Madam Speaker, and since the introduction of universal secondary education, we have had serious challenges with our young men and women completing secondary school. And there are some students or children who they're good with the academics, but there are some, Madam Speaker, give them anything, they will fix it. And I believe we had the JSP program. Madam Speaker, we stopped it and we moved. We're talking about TVET right now, technical and vocational education and training. And I am hoping, Speaker, that before we can look at not only having secondary schools, but look at having comprehensive schools, where we can bring in the technical aspect, vocational aspect, culinary arts, and different things that our young people can get the skills. We are speaking about, Madam Speaker, about having a university graduate in every home. But what about having a skilled person in every home? Madam Speaker, Maria taught us a lot about skills training. Now we have, the Prime Minister made reference of it, we have to bring in a lot of skills to rebuild Dominica. And I am sure if we had trained more of our people in arc welding, construction, carpentry, electrical wiring, and these things, we would get our young people more engaged after Maria, Madam Speaker. We have a lot of opportunities for them, but they do not have the skill set to take advantage of the opportunity in terms of rebuilding Dominica and getting a slice of the cake, a proper slice of the cake, Madam Speaker. So let us look at revising universal secondary education, as I said, and look at the more skills training. Madam Speaker, I have already made mention of the Nehemiah Comprehensive Building, Madam Speaker. It's an empty building, a large yard. Let us see how we can utilize it and do more skills training there, not only for Maro and environs, maybe the entire West Coast. You can utilize that building, empty building, and introduce some skills training there, not just for 3 months or 6 weeks, but look at every term you have different programs being run on that facility, and you have young men and women being trained, even night classes as well, for some people who may be in the service industry and may want to learn a skill, but they only have the time to do that in the nighttime. Let us see how we can create that environment to ensure that we have the skill set that we need to rebuild Dominica. Madam Speaker, as we mentioned about education, you said towards empowering our people, sustainable jobs, effective practical training. Maria taught us a lot, and Madam Speaker, I made mention of that. Some time ago, the Minister of Education in this honorable house made mention about that the government made the tuition about 90% of the students at the state college. Madam Speaker, why don't we, the 10%, why don't the government make college education free? Madam Speaker, if this state is paying 90%, why don't this state pay everything? The Minister of Education said in Parliament that the state is paying 90% of the tuition of students attending the state college. Why not make it free? So the children, our students will feel more compelled to go to college and learn a skill, Madam Speaker. That is what we're saying. Encourage them to do that. And Madam Speaker, adults as well, very much so, honorable member for the Kalinago territory. Everybody. And that is what we are saying, Madam Speaker. We want to create the environment that our young people will feel that even though my parents do not have the funds, but the government made college education free, I can go there and get educated and prepare myself and become a more productive member of our society. Also become more competitive in terms of job seeking. And that is what we'd like to see our young people being given the opportunity, being empowered and given the opportunity to further themselves. Madam Speaker, tertiary education is critical, and I applaud the government for saying that we would like university graduate in every. We would like that. We would like them to come back home, but we have the challenge. Yes, we educate them, but where are we employing them? And that is a challenge we have. Creating the enabling environment for the private sector to grow, to create jobs, and our young people can come back home and contribute. Madam Speaker, they're not going far, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Totola, they're in the Caribbean. They want to come back home to contribute, but we have to create the enabling environment. Madam Speaker, we don't want to hear our students studying and they have to be worrying about they have state scholarship and have to be worrying about the tuition being paid, Madam Speaker. We want our students, when they go out there, they want to be focused on their majors, their school, and that their tuitions and every expenses that the state have to meet is met on time on their behalf, Madam Speaker. And we see too many parents have to be going up the steps of the ministries every time we head into September to ensure that the children get the support. We should have a database of all of our students studying, they're on scholarship, and we meet the expenses on time, and the parents have got to be leaving the communities of Laplin and Pilisufri and Good Hope and come to town up and down to see how they can get the funding for the children at college. Madam Speaker.
1 minute, please. Yes. This is about the 5th time for this session that I'm noticing telephones going off. Do you know in the courts when the phone goes off, the magistrate or the judge takes the phone and you don't get it back until you pay the equivalent of the cost of the phone to a charity? Yes? That's a fact. So, please, members, maybe don't make me think along those lines, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, early childhood education. I think most of the owners. Okay, it's connected. Most of the preschools around Dominica, Madam Speaker, are open. And sure, most of them got affected during Hurricane Maria. And I'm hoping that they will get the support, the startup support to open this preschool. Early childhood education is critical, it's very important, and we do not want our young ones to stay home and not get the vital first stage of education that they require. And we would like to see the preschools around the island get the support, the required support that they need to do the work in terms of empowering and molding our very, very young minds. So I'm hoping that they can get that type of support. Madam Speaker, we are hearing about our lecturers at the State College and the challenges that they're having. We cannot have our lecturers who are molding minds and empowering our young people having challenges with their contracts not being signed, some of them not getting, even haven't gotten the double bubble as yet. They were expecting to get it. It's owed to them. We are hoping that that can be addressed and move forward. And that is important because you not want your college staff, as I said, your lecturers to be disappointed, despondent, and not being able to come to the classroom, that energy to mold our minds. And it's important that we compensate them fairly, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I heard the Minister of Information, Science, Telecommunications, and Technology. I listened to him yesterday, Madam Speaker, and he was energetic. I said he already spoke yesterday to keep his ministry. Madam Speaker, this year's budget, $400,000, only $400,000 allocated to his ministry. Madam Speaker, that is serious, to have a ministry, an entire ministry, a minister, a PS, staff, office space. Madam Speaker, and only $400,000 they gave him to manage for the year. Madam Speaker, that is not a joke, you know. Let that sink in, Madam Speaker. $400,000. That is the bill, annual bill for a major company in Dominica. Telephone bill, utility bill for a major company in Dominica. Any farmer, there is a modest loan for a farmer or a fisher to build a modest three-story building. Three bedroom building, Madam Speaker. And that we are saying $400,000 for an entire ministry. And we are talking about the largest cabinet in Dominica. If you want to start cutting and chopping, Mr. Prime Minister, I don't have to tell you where to start. $400,000 for an entire ministry with staff, PS, minister, office space, transport, everything. Less than half of 1%, Madam Speaker, of the money allocated for the 2018-2019. Madam Speaker, I heard the minister, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I listened yesterday when my good friend, the Member of Parliament for Portsmouth. No, I coming back to my good friend in St. Joseph, but I am moving, Madam Speaker, on housing. Housing, Madam Speaker, after the Honorable Lennox Linton made one of the most excellent budget response presentation here yesterday. My good friend, the Parrep for the Portsmouth constituency, Minister Douglas, Madam Speaker. Minister Douglas came the Minister of Trade, Madam Speaker, thank you for the correction. He was energetic. He was, I don't know where he got the energy from yesterday. And he made his presentation. And you know, the minister said that the United Workers' Party only built 2 housing schemes, one in Stock Farm and one somewhere in Melvin Hall in Margot. Madam Speaker, this is from the truth. The United Workers' Party built the Layo housing scheme. And we heard Senator Williams, only one, maybe one roof loss of few governors in that area during Maria. We built the second housing scheme in Bath Estate. You had the Paradise Valley built by the Freedom Party, and higher up had the housing scheme built by the United Workers' Party. The United Workers' Party acquired land at the Union Estate in Point Michel. We acquired land, some in the Charlotte Valley in Newton at the back of Fatima. We also, the United Workers' Party, in Chance, in the minister's constituency, we acquired land there to build proper housing scheme. The land of what is happening in Chance Portsmouth. We can ask the minister. The houses in Layu, they were called monstrosities, in this house, by the former PAL rep. The houses by the United Workers' Party. And they are there standing strong. Yes. But what happened in Hillsborough Estate? Resilience, Madam Speaker. Hillsborough Ghanaians, Madam Speaker, feared differently. Madam Speaker, housing assistance post-Maria and the Salisbury constituency. I must take pause there, Madam Speaker, because I want to really make it very clear as the MP for Salisbury, that I welcome any assistance for Dominicans and especially my constituents. But Madam Speaker, what I do not like is the total disrespect to the parliamentary representative. Not only Salisbury, but places where the United Workers' Party did win. Madam Speaker, you had the disrespect of the Honorable Joshua Francis, parliamentary representative for Roseau South. Disrespect of the leader of the opposition and parliamentary representative for Marigot and Concord. The disrespect for the parliamentary representative for Roseau North, and disrespect of the parliamentary representative for the Wesley, Woodfordale, and Palm Tree. Madam Speaker, Honorable Bassett was sick, and they had 2 people distributing funds in Woodfordale and Wesley. The funds coming from the... I want us to listen clearly. Government machinery has to be respected. They're utilizing the village councils, Madam Speaker, and then they're using labor operatives to distribute funds. Madam Speaker, that is the reality of it, that is the reality of it. Don't tell me what I'm talking about, I am the parent for Salisbury, and I know what is happening, I'm Kelvin. I'm member for St. Joseph. Madam Speaker, it is right there. Madam Speaker, right. Yeah. $400,000, you're managing this, A farmer can manage that. A farmer can manage that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what we are saying, Madam Speaker, the United Nations, the UNDP, did a survey along with the Ministry of Housing, and they have all the data of the housing stock in Dominica that was assessed. By using that database that was made available to the government, it is now in Sky, they can access it, and they can manipulate the data to find out in different constituencies, different zones, different areas, which the houses that got the most, that was totally destroyed, partially destroyed, and whatever, Madam Speaker. And that information is available. But what transpired? The information was, I don't want to be involved in distributing funds and things. Let it go through the proper channel. There's a Ministry of Housing. And that Ministry of Housing must have the human resource capacity to ensure that they meet every needy person in Dominica. Not politicians or political operatives go in and identify who they want. Let it be done properly through the village council. And I am calling on the minister responsible for local government, my good friend, the Honorable Minister for Ecclesiastic Affairs. Madam Speaker, that we have to manage and ensure that our village councils are not being used, but they are doing the job of the people, properly ensuring that it's done properly. When we have political operatives getting involved, you're creating a gray area on every village council, because some village councils are doing their best to ensure that it's done properly, but you're creating a gray area over every village council. Let us do it right, and let us ensure that it gets into the hands of the proper people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
You have 5 minutes left.
5 minutes already? Yeah, more time, about 5 more.
Madam Speaker, I move the motion that the Honourable Member of Salisbury constituency be allowed another 10 minutes.
Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the member for Salisbury be given a further 10 minutes to complete his contribution. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. You may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much. I'm loving the camaraderie across the board. Thank you very much. Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I said earlier on, I always want us to adhere to the proper protocols within the public service to ensure that we do everything across the board and respectfully. It's important that we do that as responsible leaders in the country and in our communities. Madam Speaker, I also took the opportunity to write to the Ministry of Housing, and I'm sure that the Minister of Housing, the Minister in the Ministry of Housing can tell you that I have a list of names that I believe that should be looked at urgently. I have dropped that list in maybe 3 months now, still following up for the people of Salisbury, Kulibistri, and Monarchet who got affected, and they really need the assistance. I'm not looking at political parties, they support but need. And I must say that we need to address these concerns. A question was asked of the Prime Minister in Parliament, and Madam Speaker, I just want to quote just one sentence in his answer to a question asked. And the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "The government is seeking to assist the vulnerable families and persons through direct representation by the affected persons, referrals by Ministry of Social Services, the parliamentary representatives, or the local government authorities." I want that to sink in, and I want us to understand protocol. The Prime Minister made it very clear in his response to a question asked in Parliament, how people should get assistance. And when we're seeing political authorities coming in some of the constituencies, doing what they want, how they want, taking lists, it is disrespectful to the community. It is disrespectful. It is breaching the protocol within the particular ministries. And I know we would like to do better, Madam Speaker, and I just wanted to make raise that point, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, another concern, a very serious concern that I have. As we said, we would like the best for everybody. And we are talking about relocation. We have heard about the people from Petit Savan moving to Belleville-Chopin, people from Corley who moving to Platma-Pier, and we are hearing now the people of Kulibistri moving to Mapushri, the place we call Ban, 18 acres allocated for them in my concern, Madam Speaker, I have no problem if people who have to move. My concern, Madam Speaker, is the approach. How can you tell the people of Kulibistri that they're going to ban, and you have not met with them? No consultation, no visit, no interaction, no constructive engagement. You cannot do that to our people. You have about 163 houses in Kulibistri, and a total of about 700, the population of about 700. You're moving them, and not seeing, having the courtesy, the decency to call the community to a meeting, discuss with them. Say, people of Kulibistri, we have to move you. We want to put you more in ban, but people of Kulibistri, you may go here aside from them. Some would say there are some areas you could put a river wall, and it will stay. But nothing. Just tell them they are moving. Some of them have their mortgages. Some of them have properties worth over $500,000. I know they have to move. But how are you going to compensate them? Are you going to put them in units? Are you going to build them houses? Are you going to give them land? These things have to be discussed. Timeline for moving. And a lot of us who do, some of our basic courses we do project management. And project management tell you have to bring in the stakeholders very early. And when you don't bring the stakeholders early, you're going to have hurdles, obstacles, barriers. But if you bring them in early, you thrash out the differences and you move forward. As I said, I have no problem with the people of Kulibistri moving, but let us do it in the proper way. We should have a meeting with the people of Kulibistri like yesterday and discuss with them the challenge that we're having and hear from them, allow them to vent. Since Eric and Maria, the people of Kulibistri have not vented to the government. They have not sat down with the government and have a discourse. Is that right? And I commend what transpired in the Petit Savan area where they had several meetings with government officials. Why don't you have that in the people of Kulibistri as well? And we're just asking for fairness across the board and to ensure that we do things right going forward. Madam Speaker, and that is what we would like in Kulibishri, do that, have constructive engagement with the people on what's going on and we're moving them forward, Madam Speaker. And that is what we'd like to see transpired in the Kulibishri Salisbury constituency, especially with the vulnerable people of Kulibishri. And I would like us to have that type of engagement. We've seen dredging going on, Madam Speaker, and other things happening. But in terms of having the discussion with the people of moving, that is very important. I know I raised it with my good friend, the Minister of Public Works, some time ago, about having that discourse with the people of Kulibishri. It's critical. I'd like us to have that. Let us put the politics on the side. Let us go down there, the people of Kulibishri, have the discussion. Meet them on their level and discuss with them. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I had the opportunity to be at a Salisbury Primary School graduation recently. And something that is critical in the lives of our young people is the opportunity to recreate, play sports for your school, and participate and help you develop. I remember playing cricket as soon as I went to Dominica Grammar School, St. Joseph campus, for 5 years, and then moving on playing for the national youth team. But I bring that up where we had the opportunity to play sports in our different communities. And I made mention of a young man in the Salisbury Primary School, Taz John Jules. He got a bursary, but he got all the awards for sports, playing sports for his school. So you want to strike a balance in the community of the young men and women that they can get involved in sports. And sports is critical. And I just want to touch that area, Madam Speaker, a bit, because I went to Monwatchet recently, Madam Speaker, and the young men, there's a young boy that played for the Dominica under 15, and I met them around in the vicinity of the public convenience in Monwatchet, and they were telling me that's the only place that they have to recreate. That's where they play the little cricket and football, right there. And they were saying they would like a sporting facility in Monwatchet, even though it's a full basketball court. And they have identified an area, Madam Speaker, in front of the resource center in Monwatchet. And they're saying that if we can get, and I also want to bring that in the public space, that the Minister of Sports can hear that the young men from Monwatchet, they're not asking for much because they don't have a lot of land to play with. But in the front of the resource center, that something can be done, leveling it out and see if they can have maybe a full basketball court that they can play small goal football and basketball, netball, and other sports there, Madam Speaker. So I would also like a softball, cricket, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Salisbury basketball court, it got affected during Maria, and even before that, I think I presented a plan for the Salisbury court. Nothing transpired because of Maria. What I have done so far, I am in discussion with for corporate citizen to see if we can repair the basketball court and see how we can move forward in terms of getting sports back. It also, to the contribution made by the Minister of Tourism, the Salisbury basketball, the Salisbury beach is the only beach in Dominica with a full basketball court. And I think it can add to our tourism product if we develop it and develop the area. I heard your concerns, Mr. Tong and Senator Tong, and we'll see how we can work to ensure that we get the source. Minister Tong, that we can work together and see how we, going forward, that we can develop that facility. I was very disappointed in terms of the funding that was made available to cleaning up some of the beaches on the West Coast, and the Salisbury beach was left out. We still have a lot of work to do there going forward, but we see that beach as adding value to the tourism product. We have some of the best snorkeling sites outside of Salisbury. The East Carib Dive is right there, outside of Laro Club, and this area, whale watching as well can be done in that area. So it adds value to the product. Salisbury, the beach as well, gained close to about 100 feet as well, going towards Makushri. Before you had to jump a rock, but now because of the sand coming down there, you have a very long beach now adding to Makushri. So it added value. So let's see how we can utilize the Salisbury beach as well as part of the tourism product. Because Mayro, I must say, is a very good bit, but it can be very congested as well in the challenge that we have going forward. Yes, Madam Speaker, and as well, we are looking at, as I spoke about sports, we are looking at the Salisbury playing field to further develop it. We were trying to fix it before Maria. We are still on course to do that. There are a lot of young men in the community playing sports, and we want to encourage them. I have a few gears at my home. I'm also in communication with the Football Association, the president, and seeing how we can continue to develop football in Salisbury, Cooley Street, and along the West Coast, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, so that is where we are looking at empowering our young people, giving the opportunity. Too many playing fields around Dominica got destroyed, and Madam Speaker, and left back. Nothing much is doing. Sports has declined across Dominica. You would pass along Dominica and see a fete match. If it's football around, there's a cricket taking place around Dominica on a Sunday. So we need to see how we can resuscitate that and get the young people back involved. Madam Speaker, roads. I know I'm winding up, Madam Speaker. Roads, let me say quickly. I know you have a few more minutes. Roads in the Salisbury, Madam Speaker, Salisbury Heights. I heard the Member of Parliament for the Minister for Telecommunications and Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency made mention about roads. And I spoke with him about the only road you have to go to car home is for Salisbury. And every farmer from Cooley Street, Monrachet, Salisbury, Mayro, St. Joseph, Layu, as far as Maho, pass through Salisbury to go to their farms. We have to work together to ensure that that road is completed and completed properly. Madam Speaker, we have $6 million being spent on that road for BAM. And that is the worst piece of road construction I've seen in my life, Madam Speaker. I've said it in Parliament, I've raised it with the Minister, I've raised it with the previous Minister of Public Works. It is a BAM project, specifications. No one is monitoring. You have a St. Lucian company doing the road, and also a St. Lucian company, the Madam Speaker, doing supervision on the road. So we need to get that addressed. Madam Speaker, I am calling on the ministry, the minister and the NAO to do some investigation and a report on that road. It's of serious concern going forward. Madam Speaker, the United Workers' Party understand the magnitude of work ahead. We know what needs to be done. Better living a standard of the people under the focus, fresh and energetic leadership of Honorable
Your time is up.
Lennox Linton. Dominica will rise, Madam Speaker. Thank you. Thank you.